The two guys behind a company called I'm Back have raised nearly $1 million on Kickstarter for a digital sensor that slots inside your grandfather's analog camera. Now, forget the megapixel war or dynamic range for a second. The founders have a different question.
I think this is not a question of price or cost or comparison of megapixel or quality whatsoever. I think it's a question of self-determination. I need to have something that's mine, that has a history, that has something to tell me.
Samuel invented it and Filippo sells it. 10 years in the making.
The people use the I'm Back for enjoy, for the good moments in the life.
Welcome to episode 115.
This is Focus Check, the weekly CineTech podcast.
Welcome to episode 115 of CineD Focus Check. We have a special episode today. I'm talking to the two founders of I'm Back, and that's Samuel and Filippo. Hello from Switzerland, right?
Yes, hello. Hello, Nino.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Actually, we met the first time, Samuel and I think met the first time many years ago at Photokina. Must be around 10 years ago before you started your first Kickstarter campaign, right?
Yes, I remember.
It's been a while. Your hair wasn't white. 2018. Your hair wasn't white yet, I think. So Samuel, Filippo, it's been a few years actually since we've properly caught up. And for listeners who don't know what I'm Back is, give us the short version. Where did your company come from? Where is it today? And how did the two of you end up working together?
Okay, the company started with an informal meeting between Samuel and myself. Our wives put us together, put us in contact. So my wife just knew Samuel's wife, and they told together and said, why don't you meet Samuel and vice versa? Why don't you speak to him? Because Samuel has invented some very interesting stuff. And as an entrepreneur, maybe you should give him a hint. So maybe you can just talk to him and see if you can do business together. So we started there. And it was in 2016 or 17. I can't remember remotely, but yeah, we had a call. I was in Africa at the time being, and I really didn't understand what someone was talking to me. But then we met together here in Lugano, and then we started this crazy venture to give a second life to analog photo cameras. This is how it started.
Now I wanted to ask Samuel because you're the inventor, you're the technical creative person behind the technology. So just in a few words, tell us what I'm Back actually is.
Well, but the idea for me for I'm Back born because I have a little small collection for cameras, and look my cameras and I think, wow, but it's possible this using digital mode. Well, I have one Nikon F, I have I don't know, Canon A1. It's possible this. This is my question. If for the the simple question is born, I'm Back. I create for me. The first device I create for me. I think, well, after 1 year, I work in the in the electronics and the program, etc. It's after 1 year, is born my first device. This device, very beautiful device.
Yeah, I still remember. So for those of you listening, you will have to watch the video. That was the first generation of I'm Back.
Yeah. This born this. This is initial for all. I started this.
So basically, it's giving a second life to analog cameras, right? That's the whole philosophy behind it. Would you say the first generation was more of a toy or a gimmick, and then it became more professional?
Yes, and this is my idea is not my idea. The normal, no, in the world, all product grown up. No, all product is you create one product, but this after the first version, You understand they have many bugs. This is a bug. This is a bug. You need to adjust this, adjust this. And I receive many what's the name? The follower, no follower. Um,
Comments or questions
no,
or
no comments. No about no this
Feedback.
feedback? Yeah.
feedback. I receive many feedback. Some need the more bigger sensor. How many? I don't like this. You know, how many megapixels is your device? You go, oh my life, megapixels. I don't like this, but because I like the results by one picture. In my opinion, if you have a good eyes, you take a pictures and you have use on a pinhole or one less model like or Sony, etc., another brands. But if you don't have a good eyes, you don't have a good picture. This is my opinion. And I initiate this produce for 1 second life because in the world, many cameras is produced and they stop it. Don't the people don't use somebody I use a film good if you use a film, but the major part don't use more. The people don't use more. And
Yeah.
stop it.
So
My
people have
idea
lots
is
of old cameras. You're saying basically a lot of people have lots of old, especially analog cameras lying around that they
yes,
don't use anymore because
no,
film has become very expensive and kind of hard to get hold of. And of course, digital
yeah.
is much more approachable. Yeah, I understand that. But before we dig into the new product, actually the first product you made that actually uses a larger sensor, the I'm Back
Mm.
APS-C roll, just describe it in your own words. What is it, and what does it physically replace inside of the camera?
This idea is not a new idea. This first is an old idea because in the 995, I don't remember 998, is born this similar product, no, and this is not the new idea. And the Leica create this and DN system for the Leica Airy 8, Airy 9 years ago. And after my idea 10 years ago is not this. My idea 10 years ago is this. But 10 years ago, I don't have a possibility or engineering or for for producing this. But my idea 10 years ago is this big sensor, put inside, close your camera, connect to this, and go.
So
This
basically,
is
you replace what where usually the film roll goes in an analog camera. You have a little device. I guess that's where the battery goes, right?
yeah, this is a battery.
That's a battery, and then where usually the film plane is, this is where the sensor goes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you move it
The
literally
Yeah.
in the same spot.
Yeah, the people is the first question is, oh, this is more is too bigger, no? And there really is this. No, all analog cameras have a 4 or 5 millimeters inside, and this have exactly dimension for this dimension inside. Because if you remove the plate, no, you have a normal camera have a plate, no, the plate for press and the film.
Yeah.
You remove
Pressure plate. Yeah.
pressure the film. You remove this and you have 4 millimeters, and you put inside this. Okay, here inside I have all components inside. I have this is in CNC machine and the aluminum and the metal shape. This and this mode I have the hot now is more. What's the name? Remove o calor. Como é que é o nome?
Dissipate
The heat.
the heat.
So it's not
Yeah,
overheating.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is in fact it all is a metal shape. Metal.
Okay.
And this idea is very simple. Now I have this and put inside, switch on, and I have outside the one or use a remote control. No, outside or remote or use one remote control or use my new creation is it disappeared. My new
But
creation
let's
is
talk in let's dive into the technology a little bit later. I want to ask you another question, maybe to Filippo. So your Kickstarter actually hit its goal within an hour. I think you were looking for what $44,000 or something. You're now closing in on almost $1 million from over 1,400 backers, so that's quite significant. And you've made two significant product changes during the campaign itself: the touchscreen and now also the wired sync button. I think this is what Samuel just wanted to show us. What has the response told you about the audience for this kind of product in 2026? And has anything in the backer feedback really surprised you so far?
The reason why we added the touchscreen and the sync button. So Samuel, we saved a lot of feedback during the campaign, but we already had already we are discussing on those features. We had them almost ready to go, and because of the many feedbacks that Samuel and myself we received during the campaign, we just decided to make the extra step, the additional add-on. But those features were almost ready. Were almost ready to go. So, but because of the feedback of our bakers during the campaign, Samuel then finalized some details on those add-ons. But let me come back to Samuel.
No, in fact, the people ask, no, Samuel, I like one display of the okay. And it's not a big problem because one display, example, in this actual model, this is a I'm Back film. Oh,
Yeah.
in this model, we have one display, small display for your menu, etc. etc. It's very easy for fit one display. And in this case, I create one external battery pack, no, one similar one hub. And this hub, you have one battery, you have an exit for HDMI and USB Type-C, and you have one connector for audio for microphone, no. And in this mode, I solve many questions. No, I solve the question for for the make a video, and you have a microphone, external microphone. You're connecting this hub, and over this hub, I create one display, and it's possible fitting this display over the battery pack.
Okay.
It's okay. I solve this. The people is happy. Oh, okay.
Nice. Well, it's always nice if backers get updates to campaigns to add more features during the campaign. I think it just also gives trust that you actually are reacting to people's feedback. But every I'm Back product so far has actually used an indirect capture approach with a small sensor re-photographing a focusing screen, right?
Yeah,
the roll is the first one where the sensor sits directly at the film plane, fully self-contained with a 26 megapixel APS-C chip.
No,
It's not the first one?
No. Before this, we launched the I'm Back film.
Ah, okay.
This
I missed that.
This had one sensor, MTF, no, micro 14,
Micro Four Thirds, yeah.
MFT. This is a MFT. It's a small sensor, but it's not more have focus screen. Nothing. The image is over the sensor, and you have a real picture, digital picture. This is an upgrade for the another model.
Okay.
Now all is inside the camera. I don't have more nothing here. I put inside all in this plastic here. And now all my PCBA, before my PCBA is on big PCBA, I reduce everything in my, this is my normal PCBA for I'm Back film. This PCB now is inside here.
Ah, okay. So you were able to shrink it down so everything lives inside the camera itself.
Yeah. It's a better. It's more the people like because the people and this now the feedback is if all is inside I buy. If it is outside I don't buy. I think okay, I put your inside.
Makes a lot of sense, of course.
I think, Nino, what is very important to highlight what Samuel was telling since the beginning, the I'm Back project started really with the idea to make the I'm Back roll. The first idea was the I'm Back roll. but
Yeah, first.
because of the costs, because of the technical constraints that we had, we couldn't produce it since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem was really to get to pass over those issues. For example, the flexible PCBA. The flexible PCBA, we discovered the flexible PCBA in the last years before we during our I'm Back film campaign, because we know that it existed as possible future for the PCBA, but it was too expensive the time being to make flexible PCBAs. But then with during the production and the development of the former version, like I'm Back Film, we saw that it became feasible to make the flexible PCB and so on. And then we continued the path towards I'm Back Roll. But the very first idea was I'm Back Roll already in the head of Samuel. He wanted to do the full frame sensor inside directly in the camera and so on. But then doing the execution of the project had a lot of technical constraints, and then the first product was the ones that Samuel showed, and then we went toward I'm Back Pro, I'm Back 35, and then finally we were able to make I'm Back Film that was the sensor micro four thirds directly on the focal plane, but with the entire electronics and battery outside,
Mm-hmm.
because we weren't able to fit everything inside. And then when we did go further with analyzing the supply chain, the suppliers, the technology available, and the costs, which is very important, we discovered then the possibility to make flexible PCBAs to reduce the battery and to fit everything inside. So this is, in synthesis, the path that
Amazing.
we have gone
Yeah, of
in
course,
the
I completely understand
past
that that's
years.
what people want. Like you want to have the. It's almost like, like we have been talking about this on the podcast before. I think you also hit the right spot in terms of the camera culture right now, because I'm sure you're aware how popular those kind of analog looking cameras now are, like the
Yeah,
Fujifilm
Fuji.
X106 or
I know.
everything. I mean, Fujifilm is very good at this right now, right? They come out with these niche cameras, and they also have this forgot what it's called, the one that actually shoots 3 seconds of video on top of printing out still frames. That, I mean, it's the Evo. I think Evo Cinema. It's just a big trend right now to have something that kind of feels analog, but people don't really want to give up all the digital advantages, right? And I think if people are able to put the analog or have the analog feel and combine it with an existing analog camera and make it digital, that's amazing, which is why I think your product really hits a nerve, and maybe even more than it did 7-8 years ago when you got started, in my opinion, because now it's not anymore about, like, I think people ask probably now less about the perfect image, because all
Mm.
the digital cameras already
It's
deliver a perfect
a
image.
perfect.
We
Yeah,
don't
in
need
fact.
perfect anymore. We want special, right?
Yeah.
We want something that is almost like out of the box, delivering something nice looking, and I think you're hitting a nerve with this. Yeah.
One point for me is very, very important because, in my opinion, I have a miracle in my in my hands. This is a miracle. If you think this is a old camera, this is not a DMRE system. This is Iron Bag system. And today it's possible to take digital pictures, digital photos in your analog camera. In my opinion, this is a miracle. It's not perfect image, not no, but it's perfect for your use. Reuse your camera. This, in my opinion, is amazing because and if don't exist today, the iMac don't exist in nothing. The pictures, of course, for in fact, this the point very important is this: the iMac is not create for chance. No, don't use more film. Use only a digital device. No, my idea is pick up again in your hands your camera and take a pictures in your analog camera and remember your good days and the good moments with this camera. This is my idea. Probably because my hair is more white. I don't know. But I think this, because this is the point. If you don't, if you like, you use your phone and take 100,000 pictures, but one picture and you think about, wait, I need to adjust the light, I need to adjust the diaphragm. What? This is a relax moment. It's not for competition for the last model Nikon, last model Canon or Sony or Fuji. No, it's not. It's not this. It's not this. My product is for you reuse your beautiful, beautiful old camera and digital way, digital day or digital moment. This idea is, I know, is a sample, but many people don't understand this and compare my product for iPhone or Read phone or
Yeah.
this or this. It's not for compare.
Yeah, I mean, it's also funny if people. For me, it's very funny if people are, like I would never kind of judge the image quality out of your device and then put it next to any modern cameras, because there's a lot of it that's out of your control, because of course it works with many different cameras, which we'll also talk about maybe. But there's so many factors that can of course influence it. Of course, I mean, you're sourcing this sensor. I think it's a IMX571.
Yeah, it's good,
for-
good sensor.
Sony sensor.
Yeah.
And that has been used in many other cameras, of course. But I don't think the I'm Back Roll APS-C would be a camera that like a professional photographer would use instead of a high-end whatever digital camera. It's maybe something you would use because you want that look, or you want, or as a passion, right? In your
Yeah,
in your private time. That's how I see it.
but this is our idea. It's not for competition for the last model for the market. It's not the
Yeah.
our idea. Our idea is you reuse your analog camera, because the analog camera is a perfect. I have a perfect mechanicals. I have it's a perfect. It's analog. No, and this is idea. It's not for competition. The competition. No, no.
Yeah.
The people like, we have our own good group, Facebook group, and the people very enjoy, use, reuse, and I receive many feedbacks, and the feedbacks is very clear. Samuel, I turn back to take pictures again. I have the last model for Nikon example, no? But I enjoy and reuse my old cameras. I very enjoy. It's very good. I enjoy. Thank you, Samuel, because you created this. There you go. Oh, welcome. Thank you for use my product.
So I think that if I've seen correctly in the campaign updates, the prototype you're using is still Micro Four Thirds, no? Or you're already using APS-C
No,
prototype?
this is this is a micro 430. This is the prototype is this, because this is an upgrade for this.
Yeah.
But for producing this, I need the money.
So that means you don't have a prototype yet that actually produces images from an APS-C sensor. So you can't
No, in this
share
moment,
images yet.
no, in this moment, no, and it's very clear in my campaign. I explain, guys, this is a one upgrade for this. This is my old, but this, if you look my pictures by this, is very beautiful, and this use a Sony sensor. This is an upgrade. This now is more bigger. I put inside my components in PCBA, but it's the same. The principle is same. The principle for the take pictures, EPRON, this and this, is the same for all cameras. It's the same. You don't need to create nothing, because it's the same.
Yeah.
If you create one camera, is the same for all cameras.
So it's basically the same product. You just moved all the
fact-
processing inside the camera
Yeah,
through the
exactly.
flexible
It's more
PCBA.
bigger.
Yeah.
It's more bigger. Your sensor, you need a new designer, no? You a new designer for PCBA, and software and the firmware, etc. But it's very simple, and today, no, for produce.
Quick sponsor break.
The lighting in our Focus Check podcast studio is supplied by Nanlite. That glow you see behind us, those rich purples washing through our vintage camera collection. That's their PavoTube 2 6XR tubes, magnetically attached to the shelves. 8 of them, and they all charge simultaneously in one rugged case. Pull them out, they turn on and sync automatically. Our key lights are Nanlite FC500Bs. 520 watts of beautifully accurate soft lighting through rapid 90 parabolic softboxes that literally deploy in 5 seconds. I'm not exaggerating. One motion, they're open. One trigger pull, they collapse flat. The PavoTube 30Cs on the floor handle our edge light and that curtain separation in the back, with barn doors keeping everything precisely controlled. And every single fixture in this room we control from one app on an iPad, the NanLink app. For a weekly show that's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Check out Nanlite's full range of LED lighting on nanlite.com. And now back to the show. So how do you, I mean, you mentioned before, Filippo and also Samuel, on the thickness of this backside, like the cover glass plus the IR filter stack thickness in front of the IMX 571 sensor. I'm sure there are differences between cameras. You mentioned something like 3 or 4 millimeters, that space, but how are you compensating for those differences and the registration shift on cameras with different pressure plate geometries? Because I mean, the back focus could be off, no? Like, how do you compensate for that?
Well, first of all is this, the focal plane, no, for all cameras. This is configured, no, the designer for this is for all focal plane, because the exactly position for this is at 2.10 millimeters. No, the distance, focal distance for the little shape, metal shape in the OLED camera and the sensor. In front, all sensor in the world have one filter, an IR filter, right? And this IR filter, don't touch nothing, is inside. Outside, of course, I have the total 4 millimeters. And obviously, if your camera don't close because you don't have 4 millimeters, if you remove your plate, no metal plate, if you remove
Pressure
this, exactly, pressure plate, you remove this, and you try and close, and it's impossible. In this case, it's a unique case. You need print in 3D printer, one cover and close and stop. But this example, no, inside this I have 4 millimeters inside sensor. It is like this inside this. But if I change the camera, example, and this. Oops.
So, what cameras will it actually be compatible with?
Camera,
Yeah.
and you have inside one sensor, 4 millimeters, and inside the one Olympus, Leica Air. If you have one Nikon,
You have a lot of cameras.
this is the one Nikon F100. No,
Yeah.
and inside one sensor.
So, which cameras will APS-C roll APS-C be compatible with, or any limitations?
How many?
Yeah, like it's a long list, no?
100. I have one guy in our Facebook group, and test only day and test 600. I don't know, 600.
Different
50,
models.
I don't know, cameras, different cameras.
Okay.
There's a guy who's testing every day,
Every day, different cameras.
hundreds of models, and yeah.
Wow.
And
So
I don't know. It's more easy for me explain for you how many cameras don't fit.
Okay. Yeah, that's
No,
amazing.
just don't fit.
Yeah.
You need to print one 3D cover.
Yeah.
Remember the Nikon F, the cover is not this.
Yeah.
The Nikon F cover is this. The contacts too. The old contacts, not the new contacts G2. And this have this.
Yeah.
The models Alpha have this. I have 3 names in my mind.
That don't fit.
And need
Okay.
a
Because of
cover
the mechanics,
that is
mostly
3D.
how film was loaded. Okay. What I found interesting, like when you launched the campaign, you had a slogan: "One roll, no screen, pure shooting." and then within weeks you added this 2.5-inch touchscreen, which is great, of course. But what does that tell you about like what you wanted to make versus what people want?
My idea is because I receive many feedback. Somehow we don't need to put the screen. No, nothing. Put inside the all. Okay, I create one. This it's not a problem. You don't put the display. It's not my first idea. You know better. No, Leica produced years ago one camera without display as a black and white camera, right? It's correct. This I don't remember this. But after the people initiate ask, I like one display, I like one display, I like one display. Okay, it's not a problem, but it's not mandatory. You put one display in our device. It's not mandatory. If you like, you put. If you don't like, don't put nothing, and use.
Yeah, I think, Nino, that the thing is that everybody wanted to have the same approach that you have with film. I mean, we had a lot of feedback. Why don't you do a digital film? That's it. No screen, nothing outside, and whatsoever. So, because everything was already ready to host a screen and so on, we just eliminated the screen. But then we received additional feedback from people that said, okay, but now for me, it's difficult. I would like to see it on my screen. And because at the end of the day it was just an add-on, because the PCBA is already hosting the capability, the possibility to have a screen. We just did add this feature, but the modular approach is because of the feedback we are receiving. We're receiving several feedbacks, and it wasn't really a minority, a very small minority asking for the screen. We saw that it was consistently a good amount of people. So we decided to obviously to respond to the feedback.
So how do I
Oh,
install a touch screen on this then? I mean,
yes, it's a touch screen. It's touch screen, and it's very good. It's similar big brands. I now I don't remember the specification. The specs I have in the campaign. I have inside the campaign the page the specs about the display, but it is very high resolution. Is not is OLED system. Is very high. It's
yeah.
good. It's very good for using. Yeah, very clear. The image is very clear. It's very good. But after Nino, we receive and the feedback about the users for the Leica M or different brands for the hand fingers. And this guy asked, but for focusing it's difficult. Okay, no problem. We have this. No, this is our product. Is a one viewfinder.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's an
And it's
OLED
okay.
viewfinder?
You look here, you have a perfect view about your focusing. This
Yeah.
is the people ask if possible. We produce. No, if people ask.
Because the viewfinder we did already for Mini, for our micro mirrorless.
Viewfinders for our creation as this.
So how does this connect actually to the camera?
Yeah, this is a connected. This is using this more in this camera, our camera.
Yeah, but on the new one, how would you connect it? You have an HDMI.
In the hub, external hub.
That's this
Remember, no, you have a battery over
battery pack,
the
yeah.
hub. In the hub, you have your connection for a microphone, for display, external display, one big display, a small display.
Yeah, I'm showing it actually to our viewers
Yeah.
here on the screen on your campaign page, what the hub looks like. So that has an HDMI out, and that's also a battery pack, right?
Yeah, it's a battery pack. Over the battery pack, you have a display.
Very interesting.
It's,
So, and also let's talk about the second update. Just a few days ago, you also announced the new wired sync button, which is replacing the original Bluetooth remote two-press workflow you launched the campaign with 3 weeks earlier. So walk us through the engineering. A flat cable now has to exit the closed camera back, and the button has to mechanically actuate the camera's existing shutter release and the timing between the digital exposure window opening and the mechanical shutter actually firing inside the camera has kind of probably to land within milliseconds, so it's kind of synced, right?
I
So
know.
what does
I
the
know.
latency look like in practice, and how do you handle bodies where the threaded shutter release sits at a different angle or height than the standard? You know what I mean? It's like, is it
I
always
know.
going to be in
I
sync?
know. I understand. It's very clear. I calculate all. No, for in this model, if you touch, your shutter don't enter. It's very smaller. But if you press more, this this start first, and you shutter after. In this mode, you have a time for the open and the close. Your shutter don't start together. Your your camera shutter start after press this. First you press this,
Mm-hmm.
after this move. First this, after this. First this, after this.
And you're confident that that will work with also all kinds of cameras?
This is my prototype, but I tested. This is not new idea.
Okay.
I create it in 23, but I don't produce it. But
Mm-hmm.
now people ask, okay, I produce this device as of course is produced in aluminum, aluminum anodized black and red probably
This
here.
this idea from Samuel, I remember that he was already using on former version. This button was already developed. It was developed since 2023.
Yeah.
This
With
button,
23, I remember. It's
but
old.
we didn't put it
Have one.
on sales. We didn't sell it. We didn't put it on the campaigns whatsoever. And and now we saw, because of the feedbacks, we saw that it could be interesting to
Mm-hmm.
offer. So Samuel did fine tune it, but there are several prototypes around that we're using this shutter button, which Samuel was explaining, that when you press it, because of the mechanical pressure before you activate the electronics and then the mechanical shutter. So it works.
Ah,
We
interesting.
did use it.
Yeah.
We did use it for several prototypes we have around, and it's a simple idea, but the pressure that you're making is activating this electronic shutter, let me say,
Mm-hmm.
from the inside sensor, and then when you press it until the end, your mechanical shutter will
Great.
work.
So actually a smart way to activate them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So yeah, I mean, I just like that how much you are responding to feedback. Also, I mean, you kind of had some stuff in the drawer, but it's always nice to see the updates. Let's like at CineD, we always care about video capabilities of cameras. So I have to ask these questions because we're all about like making also what used to be photo cameras work for video. The campaign mentions 4K video, but no specifics that I saw. No frame rates, no codec, no bitrate, no recording limits, no log profile. So for our audience, this is probably the headline missing piece. Walk us through the actual video specs: 4K at what frame rate, what bit depth, internal codec,
What
or is there any kind of flag or flat or log picture profile?
I have, well, the point is this: I need to first produce, I need to first develop the software, I need to first develop the hardware. If I don't the developer this, if I explain here, oh, I have a 24 or 30 frame rate or 60
Mm-hmm.
or 120, it's okay. It's possible for me to explain this for you, but it's not real. And I'm very honestly, I prefer before talk about the film rate or this. I prefer before this develop, adjust, and the campaign I put here one upgrade. In what upgrade I explain. Look, now I have the specification about the video. Is a 24? Is a
Yeah.
30? Is a 60? Is a 120? Is it better? Because if I explain now now and after, oh, sorry, as I'm wrong.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
not,
So you don't
it's
want to
not correct.
overpromise. Yeah.
I think when Samuel said we need to develop, I think the thing is that we need to make the calibration between the software and and the sensor. So we need to calibrate this, and we are in this phase to to start this process, right? And in our past experience, we found a lot of let me say a lot of obstacles that we need to overgo, and by anticipating maybe some stuff, we had put so many constraints to our fine-tuning process that is hurting a lot because as someone is saying before stating at this time, we
Yeah.
really need to undergo a little bit further on the process so that we don't make the same mistakes in the past. In the very first project, I remember that Samuel and I we did promise we delivered everything we promised, right? Everything we promised we delivered, but it was really hard to to overcome some hindrances because we thought it would be very easy just to in our heads and our ideas, but at the end of the day, it was really tough to respond to all specs, even minor specs, because we said we need to deliver mainly in the beginning of our first campaigns. Whatever we said, we have to deliver, and we will stuck on it, cost whatever it costs. We will do it, and we did it. We try even to deliver more always that what we
Hmm.
promise. But as Samuel said, it is really there are so many surprises during the production process that
Yes.
this time we're a little bit more cautious. But for sure, it will be a wonderful product because we are really confident this time that uh, the product will be very nice.
Awesome. Yeah, it definitely looks like it, and it's one of those things. I mean, for everybody who has followed your journey over the last 8, 9 years, it's
Yeah,
just it feels like it's finally in the form it always was supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's like it's
right.
basically literally replacing the film inside the camera without adding anything more to it, and I think that's what we all been looking for. Now tell me about. But once you add a video feature, I mean, there will no doubt be this video feature that you mentioned, even if we don't know specifics yet. Um, will we be able to use the touch screen as a preview for the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible we use it. It's possible using your smartphone for preview because this device have a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And this mode you connect it in our app, and if you use our app, this,
Mm, yeah.
and it's possible for you have a live view. Of course, you need to put in B mode your old camera in B mode is
Hmm.
open, and or you use your smartphone, or if you like one big display for make a video, big display, that's
Yeah.
okay. It's connecting the HDMI exit. It's okay and go. Or use your small display over the battery.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We just know from experience that, like video functions in any cameras are often limited by the thermal activity inside a camera, like when it basically gets too hot, because of course
Noise,
video is producing a
noise.
lot of heat and also using a lot
And
of power, and that's why it's producing a lot of heat.
mm,
Um, are there any concerns around that? Like, because that's also something I think that can probably limit the kind of codec you use, the kind of frame rates you can offer, and so on.
but in fact, for this, I prefer before talk about the all questions together are the engineer,
Hmm.
the software engineer, and search the better solution and communicate for our clients' attention. Use it for 30 minutes and after stop for or if you continue, you have a big noise. Normal, no. If your sensor is too hot, you have issues. This is a normal. I use that no in my prototype many times. I use in video, I use in pictures. I don't have big issues for this, but Of course, if you use a professional mode, this it's not born for professional use. But if you want like, it's possible to use in professional. Probably you need to put in the back one what's the name of ventoinha, alguma coisa de lá.
Event.
No, if
Yeah.
you want, if you like a camera, you have a air, no.
Well, we know that every camera manufacturer has the same problem, right? I mean, we did a very long interview with GoPro at NAB, which I can really recommend to people who haven't seen this yet, because we did a deep dive on their new cameras, which is now also interchangeable lens camera. And of course, thermal issues are a big deal, especially the smaller something gets, and if you can't put a vent in it. And you shouldn't, because also video always means that, you probably want to record audio. And once you have a vent, you kind of compromise that audio. So GoPro said they were only able to increase the quality because they now have they are using a new processor, which is a 5 nanometer processor versus the 12 nanometer before. It uses less power. Less power means less heat. So they can actually provide a better quality and better noise reduction and so on inside the camera. So
Yeah,
it's all a chain reaction, yeah.
yeah, but of course this is a compromise for all. It's possible,
Yeah.
but it all have a one cost. If you have a one processor more high quality, of course you pay more. Your final price for your product is for more high, but it's a mathematical, no?
Yeah.
It's a, and in our feedback, the people like this for taking pictures. This is my very honestly, the people I put the video inside this. It's not a problem, but I know the people like take pictures,
Yeah.
raw pictures, very biggest, bigger file. No, 12 and 12, 12 probably, or 20, or I don't remember exactly. For the old model, the new model probably is a 20 or 30 megabytes. No, not megabytes. It's a very bigger files. The people like for take pictures. Well, one old camera. This is I received the feedback, not for videos, but it's possible to make a video. Yes,
Yeah.
but the people like use this for take pictures.
Yeah. So the main purpose will be stills
Yeah,
with an added
probably the
function of. So maybe it's like in the old days with DSLRs when they started adding a video mode, and it's just like the little extra, but it has limitations. I think it's fair.
yeah,
It's fair enough
yeah.
if you communicate it like this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. For this, I don't communicate nothing or details about the video
Yeah.
because I don't have.
Yeah.
If I have, I explain, and the people understand. Okay, this is okay.
Yeah.
The 5 minutes, stop it.
Yeah.
It's too high, and after to continue. I don't know.
Guys,
Oh,
like
no.
any Kickstarter campaign in the past from a lot of different, I mean, we always love the kind of passionate original stories from creative people like you guys who really come from a very personal space and make a product, because we can completely empathize with that. We have a lot of ideas as well. We're also working on some product ideas that hopefully will realize during this year. But we know, I mean, we completely understand the challenges. However, the one thing, of course, that Kickstarter in general, I think, sometimes has a little bit of a bad reputation for, is that a lot of projects overpromise and then deliver a little bit too late. And also the support. Of course, a small team will have a hard time providing kind of customer support as compared to a big company. And I think in the past there have been a few, and I just want to address it right off the bat, like some comments and reviews online that you probably also suffered from, where people had some problems with the product, which is very normal. I think there was something with a Nikon F3 shutter bug. There was one guy, I think Samuel and I talked about this before the recording, where he complained that several cameras are not compatible and so on. So first question is, has something changed operationally for you guys since you did this the first time? Like how is a 3-person team going to support 1,400 backers once they receive their units, and provide customer support, because I imagine that's very, very hard.
That's okay for me. One test, one review. For me, is normal. It's not a problem. But if you don't have correct review, is a big issue, is a big problem for my product. Because if you compare my product for one analog camera, is wrong. Because the results for I'm Back is a different for analog camera. It's not good for similar. No, it's not true. It's not question for is more good or more bad. It's a different.
So you mean comparing the result if you used an analog film in the same camera versus you put your device inside a camera and then complaining that they don't look the same?
Is it? Of course.
Yeah.
This is not my idea. This is a common idea in the cinema. If you make one video and you use a film, you have a grain, you have a different flavor. It's impossible to copy. Okay, it's possible copy in the digital mode, no, the fake grain, etc. But it's a different flavor.
Yeah.
Impossible. My idea is not copy. My idea is not create one device for don't use more film and use only I'm Back. No, is it wrong? If you compare my product, first you need to take one pictures in RAW in my device, and you take a pictures in RAW because a film is a RAW film. No, is a RAW
image.
Okay.
Yeah.
The image. No, if your film you put in your machine in your factory for development, and you develop your film. But if the machine don't adjust the parameters, your film, your color is gray. The final color is gray. Is not, you don't have a Kodak color or Fuji color or not. You have a gray color. It's very bad because the computer need adjust the parameter for your RAW, your film. Okay.
So you basically mean people need to properly process raw images, digital images, in order to be able to compare them to the results from analog film. Yeah, I mean, completely understand.
Okay.
Also very hard. I mean, I think it's a very weird thing. I haven't seen that review that you refer to, but I may just skimmed through some comments in general that mentioned it. But I think it would be weird to compare that, because it's basically, it's almost like what you're doing is taking a car and ripping out its engine and putting a different engine in, and then somebody who drives both versions of that car with the two different engines would expect them to behave the same just because because the chassis is the same, right? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
No, this is a point. But I explained this. Okay.
Ô Samuel, fala da compatibilidade.
Então, okay. For finish this now, but if you take one picture for our system and roll and adjust your Lightroom, okay, and you put your Kodak color result here and my result here, okay, it's a different if you compare, because it's one a film, one a digital. Stop. But if you put one picture in JPEG from my device and compare for one raw adjusted, it's not correct.
Yeah.
It's wrong. And the analysis in the web is exactly this. One put one simple JPEG and compare for one result from Kodak color, adjusted, etc. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, it's ridiculous. I'm a little bit intelligent for understand this. It's a very different. Compatibility. For the compatibility for our actual device, now for this, is a 99%, because if it don't fix fitting inside, you need a print one cover in 3D printer and close, and that's okay. But for 99% for cameras, I show you, this is one Leica. I have here one Minolta. I have a Contax, I have a Olympus, I have a Pentax, I have
Well,
a
I think
Canon.
I think what a lot of people are unsure about, if I read correctly from the comments, like people would love to have a verified compatibility list, even though you say it's 99%,
Right.
but people, they look in their grandfather's attic and found that camera, and I think everybody worries if they are part of that 1% where it doesn't fit. So I think people would love to see a verified camera compatibility list where you really tested them in house or through your
Mhm.
colleague that does it in their spare time all the time, and
I
and
test
and
in
and
my
just release that list. I think that's something that a lot of people would really appreciate.
Yeah.
okay. I tested in my home here or in my studio. I have probably 100 cameras, and I tested in all cameras, and it
Mhm.
fit inside.
Yeah.
This is my little test, but
Well, release that list. I would definitely release that list, but just tell people that it's not
Really?
exhaustive. Like there is more cameras,
Yeah.
but I think it's positive. Like to say, well, this one is kind of verified.
exactly.
That's
One guy, put one this, the plastic camera, very simple camera, and it fit inside. Oh, don't enter. Oh, don't. The point is not don't enter. É the modus operandi, como se diz in inglês. The
yeah.
modus, the
Yeah, the
flow,
way, the way.
the way. If you open in my old model, if you don't put the complete plastic, but you put over only the PCBA and the fit and the little spacers, and put this inside and close the camera close. But the test that the guy used the one my roll, okay, it's the standard, and put inside. Oh, don't enter, don't close, don't close. But of course, you need the intelligence, because I put inside the little pack the smaller spacers, and you put this in the PCBA for the sensor, and the fix inside this. And this I realized for many cameras that don't close because
Hmm.
it's too bigger. No.
There are some futures inside this
Features.
inside our
Yeah.
I'm Back film, which you can put different
Support.
adapters to fit inside the camera. So we have like the Leica M, or the general one, or we
Yeah.
put also some small brackets. If it doesn't fit really with the entire frame, you put it inside the bracket. So in the review, we didn't see really this approach. But
Hmm.
I wanted to answer also to you, Nino, regarding the after sales issues and the 1,500 bakers. What are they going to face? This is a very good question, and I thank you to make this question, because it's a hard work for us. We are myself, Samuel. We have some help from our friends and families also, and we also use a little bit the infrastructure from my companies, because I have also side businesses in which we have support from some colleagues that obviously we need, mainly during the fulfilling process and during the after sales process. It is a hard work that we try to do as much as possible within our in our network. That means within our friends, families, and some companies of mine that helps also in this process. So that's just to give you a little bit background. But what I really appreciate in this question is that I would like to use this opportunity, because I'm Back is reaching some maturity stage, and we are trying to connect ourselves with some bigger players. And I would like to use this opportunity,
Yeah.
to say that we try to make some contacts, because we would love to scale our operations, and it would be very, very interesting to see if there is some bigger player around that would love to understand better what is I'm Back and our potential. Because we try to make contact. We did some cooperation with Yashica. We did some, yes, looking for cooperation with other players, and I would not hide it that we would be very happy to understand if there is some bigger player maybe around that say, okay, we could join forces, or we could do some cooperation, because we are doing it with a lot of passion and a lot of hard work inside within our capacity, but we would love to do it also in a bigger, more structured way, maybe with a bigger player.
And
If there's anybody interested, please contact us.
yeah, and we from CineD, we're already in talks about this to help you guys,
Yeah,
to put you in touch. Of course, we have the
right.
contacts. Yeah.
And I
Um,
would love to hear from you also, Nino. If there is somebody or some company, let us know. We are open.
we'll find out. I'm sure there will be interest. But as I said before, I think you're at the right point in time in terms of what people like
Mhm.
want in a camera, right? I think that's why I see also in general a lot of potential for this kind of tool that you're making. Um, Let me address one more thing because that's also been a question of a lot of people.
Mhm.
Backers of I'm Back 35 received units, I think 2.5 years late. Backers of I'm Back Film received it roughly a year late. The roll seems substantially harder product than ever before than either
One
of
year
this.
late.
But
One
in
year
your,
late.
I know you have I mean, now you are promising to Kickstarter backers to deliver in August 27. So it's still a lot of time, kind of,
Yeah.
as a ship date. What historically the ship date was more like 12 to 30 months. So
Yeah.
just be like maybe you can address that and are you confident that you can hit that goal this time?
Absolutely. I'm back 35. Just to say that there are bakers who really receive it late, but we need to remember that we were during the COVID period. During the COVID period, it was really, really unpredictable and really, really hard. What happened during I'm Back 35 production process is that not only the COVID process has delayed our trips to China, our entire process,
Impossible to
but
China.
we had also suppliers that closed the doors. And I need to mention this because we have started the entire process, development process, with at least I remember 3 different software suppliers that have closed consecutively the doors because of COVID. What does it mean? We had to resume at least 3 times the entire development process because during the COVID, we get in touch with a very good supplier of a certain production step for the software. Then he just failed, he closed, went because of COVID. He just winded up the operations, and this happened 3 times during the COVID. And we started very late because we couldn't travel. And once it happens the first time, we said to Samuel and I, we said, okay, we need to go to China, but we couldn't travel. So it happens the second time. We've tried to start a new supplier online because it wasn't. And at a certain point, we just decided, no, we need to wait. The COVID situation must stop. And when we can travel again, we will activate a new supplier. This is what happened during I'm Back 35. So it's a really special situation. I'm Back Film is different. It is even if the product is more difficult. We had a development process that was shorter regarding I'm Back 35, but still was in delay. And the main issue is that for I'm Back Film, we didn't really consider that going from micro 4/3 from the former, from the former process, from the former development process, going directly to focal plane. Let me say, from the Fresnel to the focal plane, we had to change 99% of everything, suppliers, and we couldn't do really the synergies we wanted between I'm Back Pro, I'm Back 35, and I'm Back Film. So there weren't really synergies on the supply chain, let me say. And this is what we, let me say, a little bit underestimated during the entire process. But and this should not happen between I'm Back Film and I'm Back Roll, because now we are going to make synergies between our supply chain. So this is the reason why we expect still to be in the timeline of of 2027. But you know, um, it is always really difficult to put precise dates for such complicated development processes that we are going on, because we are not reselling a product. We are really developing from scratch, and we hope to do much more synergies in the supply chain this time relative to I'm Back Film, because I'm Back Film we had to learn almost very new production steps, processes, suppliers, therefore, and so on and so on, because from I'm Back 45 to I'm Back Film, almost everything changed. Now, this time we hope to not delay it, but Nino, very frankly speaking, we rather delay 1, 2, 3 months whatsoever, but deliver a wonderful, fully functional product that we are confident that we know it will be a big pleasure, a big joy in the hands of our bakers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's also, like, I think it's all about communication. I think a
Uh-huh.
lot of we've done another call with like, there's these Australian brothers that are making a camera, which is also like, nobody has heard of them before, and they're making this camera that is looking absolutely amazing on paper. Um, and of course, I mean, they're also in the similar process now, where they are kind of facing the realities of production, but they're already working on it. And I think, like they also do, the communication with the people who are supporting the project is very important, because everybody loves an underdog story. Like, there's a reason why they
Yeah.
trust you with their money, and everybody who's backing a Kickstarter campaign should be, or hopefully is already aware of the risks involved. Like, I mean, it's not like ordering from Amazon and you can return it within 14 days, basically.
But many people think about the Kickstarter same Amazon. I buy it
Exactly.
today, tomorrow I have is I mean, honestly, many campaigns in the Kickstarter or in another place have a different approach. Many companies produce before and launch in Kickstarter.
Yeah. That's why the
This,
confusion. That's where the confusion comes from. I agree with you, because you guys are actually, you're using Kickstarter right, because you're really developing
yes,
something and you're using the
yes,
money to actually make it. And
yes,
like you
Yeah.
said, a lot of big brands are kind of misusing it,
yeah,
if I may say,
exactly.
because they already have the finished product. Of course, for the user,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the Kickstarter is a smart marketing thing, right?
Yes,
If
but in
if you
my
already have
opinion,
a finished product, you can seem like the underdog, even if you're a big corporation, if you
yeah,
launch it through that.
my opinion, probably I'm wrong, but my opinion, the Kickstarter is born for companies like our
I agree.
company.
Yeah.
I need to create, I need to develop. Samuel, what's your work in this? I create. I designer. I put my computer. I create. I print in my parts. I assemble. I soldering. I test. I take a picture and post. And I talk to my followers. Listen, now I have an exact example. I want new button. This is Kickstarter. These
Mm.
are real Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Real.
Actually,
No,
I agree.
I produce, I have a money, I produce everything. And after I launch the Kickstarter campaign and I have many money because in 1 month I deliver. No, I am a Kickstarter.
That's great. Yeah,
Real.
I think that's the right spirit. That's how it should be. And it's just that people's expectations have changed because of so many other brands using it. Guys, last question, because we have to close very soon. Uh, in 2017, you described I'm Back as a gadget, as a lomography style fun device, not a tool. Now, the Roll APS-C is priced between $500 and $1,000, with a Sony IMX571, machined aluminum, Wi-Fi, 4K video. And the honest competitive comparison, if you just look at the price, is of course a used Sony A7 II or a Fujifilm XS10, for example. with a vintage lens adapter or whatever, which of course has a lot of features that old analog cameras don't have, like autofocus, better autofocus, full electronic shutter sync, and so on. So are you still selling a gadget, or are you now selling a tool? And what's your honest non-marketing case for buying the roll instead of just adapting old glass to a mirrorless body?
This is my opinion, Filippo, because probably Filippo have a different thing. Because, this is my opinion. I created this. I initiated no before Filippo, after Filippo together. But I created this. My opinion, personal opinion, for enjoy. Is not for tool. This is my opinion. Because if you like a tool, have a big companies produce tools. Red, no, Fuji, sorry, uh, Canon, Nikon, no, and Sony. You have the tools. For what I produce the tools? I'm not bigger. I'm not have a engineers for produce perfectly, exactly for tools. I prefer create a toy. But I explain. This is an adult toy. It's very, very good and very, very funny and for enjoy. This is my opinion. Because if I need I take one serious picture, I have a serious cameras in my in my house. But if I like go and choice one old camera, I choose today contacts. Okay, I pick up my two contacts. I put my device digital and slow, and the good moments with my camera. This is my idea for I'm back, and I I think the people agree. The people use I'm back for enjoy for the good moments in the life.
Filippo.
Yeah, you touched a very important point because if I'm a professional Formula One racer or whatsoever, I have a race car, right? I race with my race car, and but then when I need to enjoy it, is my job, right? When if I'm professional racer, I have my race car and that's my job whatsoever. But when I turn home, I want to drive for pleasure in my car, and I wouldn't drive in free time a race car if I'm a professional racer, right? I would drive the car that I'm more touched. I have more history, more story behind. I have something that attaches me. Um, I have emotions there. I have a story to tell. An experience. I have lived with some experience with it, and the purpose of 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 our project is also to give a second life to those wonderful analog cameras. They are wonderful machines. If you look on the mechanics, the feel, the sound of the shutter, and when you take it in your hands, the history behind it, it have so much still to tell us, to transmit to us, to show us. And I think it is absolutely a sin to throw them away. And there is no, I think this is not a question of price or cost or comparison of megapixel or quality whatsoever. I think it's a question of self-determination. I need to have something that's mine, that has a history, that has something to tell me. I need to, there is some urgency to to give a sense on what maybe was from your grandfather, what has seen so much around. Maybe there are some cameras that have seen more than us, and I can't really realize that such wonderful machines can only stay as a placeholder or in a drawer.
As a
That really doesn't
background in a
make sense.
podcast studio. Yeah.
Exactly. So when people tell me, oh, but I can do better pictures with um with the last Sony model was I think it's not a problem. Buy one, do it. You need to have a good productivity, or as I told you before, I'm a racer, professional racer. I wouldn't go with my my oldie car, right? With my preferred Volkswagen whatsoever to go for a race.
Yeah.
I have my race car, I use it, but when I need to go maybe with my family, or I want to enjoy a drive outskirts, the center. I mean, I wouldn't choose a race car. So that's
That's
all about the feelings, the history, and the emotions behind. And there's so many things they can still deliver to us, those cameras, that's more than pictures, in my opinion. It's
what
a lifestyle, it's a history.
what a perfect closing statement, Filippo and Samuel. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for taking the time. And I hope to be updated about the campaign. We also, of course, look forward to testing it once it is ready. We wish you best of luck with making it, and we'll also report about updates to the campaign. And if you from our listeners are interested in the project, we'll include the link to the campaign, which is still going on for a few more days, like another little more than a week when this podcast is released. Check it out. Judge for yourself if you want to be one of the backers. The link is in the show notes and in the article for this podcast. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Filippo. And thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned to CineD for much more. And, of course, don't forget to leave a comment and send us feedback at podcast@cined.com to Focus Check. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And see you next week.